So for most people, the self-criticism and the inner critic come from an internalized voice of a parental figure or caretaker or someone very important in your life when you were a child. Now, many people can recognize right away, oh yeah, that's the way my dad used to talk to me, and that's the voice I've internalized. Other clients of mine, as most of you know, I was a psychotherapist for 20 years helping people with these issues of these automatic thoughts, anxieties, self-criticisms. But if people didn't recognize that voice as, who it came from right away, they might say, no, nobody ever talked to me that way, but I know that my mother felt that way or my father felt that way. That's how my mother or father would talk to themselves. So sometimes children can absorb this stuff by osmosis. And I'd say the third category where I've really seen this voice develop from, if that sentence made sense, but would be bullying. So for people who were bullied in grade school, they very often develop this internalized voice. And this internalized voice is basically repeating to yourself what the bully said or what the abuser in your life said. Because here's the sad thing for children who grow up with abusive parents is that children believe what their parents say. So even though you probably hit an age, a certain point in your life where you knew it wasn't true any longer, when we are young, we really absorb what we are told about ourselves. A child's identity develops because of the people around them and the way that they are responded to. And early in life, it's the primary caregivers, and then school becomes an influence, of course, teachers, other children, possible bullies. But our self-concept develops in terms of how people relate to us. And unfortunately, if we have a parent who was damaged very young themselves, and they treat us as if we are damaged, we develop a self-concept that we're damaged. But in fact, we were being treated as if we were damaged because the other person was damaged. So this takes a lot of healing, but a good first step is to begin to see that internalized voice differently. And know that even if you can really identify where that voice came from, it's not your dad's voice, it's not your mom's voice, it's your voice, internalized, that reflects their voice. So it is separate. It's separate from their voice. It's yours, and you can change it. So that's just an important piece, because I've had clients who've been like, oh, well, that's my mom's voice. It's never going to go away. No, it's actually not your mom's voice. It's your internalized version of your mom's voice. And then the other thing to recognize about this internalized voice is that it's actually trying to protect you. Now, I know that probably sounds totally nuts, but if you really think it through, that voice is trying to protect you so you can stay connected to your caregivers or to other people. So let me give you an example. Let's say you were bullied as a kid. Let's say you were a boy, and one day, second grade, you began to cry about something. And the other kids just jumped in and jumped on you, cry baby, and then never let it go. That whole year you were called crybaby. Well, you're going to develop an internalized voice that says, don't cry. And every time you feel like crying, your internalized voice is going to say to you, you're a crybaby. Stop crying. You're weak. You're useless. We'll go on a rant. Why? Because it doesn't want that to happen to you again. So it doesn't want you to cry because it doesn't want other people to pick on you, because it wants you to be able to be comfortable in the classroom around other kids. All right, that's sort of a simplified example, but probably with a little bit of investigation, you'll be able to figure out what that internalized voice developed or what reason it developed, what it was trying to protect you from, and it still in its own way is trying to protect you now, even though it's torturing you. Okay, so another example would be, let's say you had a mom who anytime you did something selfish or anytime she wanted to disappear or she wanted to retreat, she would tell you did something selfish or she would call you selfish. Then she'd go into her bedroom, slam the door, leave you alone for hours. Well, your internalized voice is going to develop telling yourself that you're selfish, don't be selfish, that was selfish, you're a horrible, selfish person. Because one, it believes the parent, and two, it doesn't want mom running into the bedroom that part of you doesn't want to be abandoned. Now, let me know if this makes sense to you. You can put a comment below. And I really want to encourage you to open your mind to this concept. And you may already have this concept, but if you don't, open your mind to the concept that our early experiences kind of live in us almost forever throughout our lives until we do some work and some healing around them and separate from some of the automatic patterns that have developed.